Hello students, we are back again with our geography class. The topic was maps and diagrams. In our last class, we have studied about maps and different types of maps which are used to represent geographical features. So now we will see representation of geographical features through diagrams. Now we will discuss about the first diagram, that is anticline and syncline. Here on the screen you can see layers of earth is given. Now if we start giving compression to this layer of the earth from both the sides, the earth starts shrinking and bulging up and slowly forms anticline and syncline. The part of the earth which is going up in this A shape is anticline, and here the part of the earth which is in this U shape, or you can say the S shape, is the syncline. The next representation of geographical feature through diagrams is the block mountains. So let us see how the block mountains are formed.
Block mountains are formed when cracks or faults occur in the Earth's crust and the land between the cracks sinks, leaving upstanding blocks on either side. Block mountains are also known as fault block mountains. You can make your own fault block mountains using a long eraser. Take a long eraser and use a pencil to draw fault lines on it. Use a cutter or blade to cut the eraser across the lines drawn earlier. Place the pieces of the long eraser together to make the eraser whole again. Apply a little pressure on the corner pieces and lift the whole eraser above the table. Slowly pull the corner pieces apart and you can see how the land in the middle of fault lines subsides and block mountains are formed on either side. The edges of such mountains are steep and the surfaces are almost level. An example of block mountain is the Vosges in Europe. The marble rocks at Jabalpur are an example of block mountains found in India.
Now let us see the paths of a river, which will discuss about rivers, tributaries, meanders and delta.
Just like water poured on a tilted tray flows from the higher end of the tray to the lower end, water flows from highland to lowland. Water flowing from highland to lowland over a long distance is called a river. The route through which a river travels is called the course of the river.
The course of a river comprises of three distinct parts. First is the upper or the mountain course where the river originates. Here, the velocity of the water is faster due to the steep gradient. The floor of the valley is narrow and the valleys are V-shaped. Second is the middle or the valley course where floors are wider and the sides of the valley are more gently sloping. Here, the velocity of the river is slower than the upper stage. Meanders are typical landforms found in this stage of the river. The third part of the river is the lower course, which has a gentle slope and is almost flat. The river channel is usually at its widest and deepest here, because the amount of water flowing within the river is at its greatest. Oxbow lakes are conspicuous features in the lower course of a river apart from the deltas where the river drains into seas.
The place where a river begins its journey is called its source. The source of some rivers is in the snow mountains. When the snow melts in summers, the water flows down the mountains in small streams. These streams join to form rivers. Such rivers are called snow-fed rivers. What is the difference between a stream and a river? Some rivers depend on the rains for water. Heavy rains in the mountains, hills or plateaus form streams which join to form rivers. Such rivers are called rain-fed rivers. They do not have a single source but start from a particular area. Rivers flow through hills and mountains at a great speed. Over the years, the rivers break the rocks on the mountainside. Huge stones break down and form soil while traveling with the water to the plains. Do you know what forms when a river falls over steep slopes in the hills? A river continues to grow bigger further in its course as other rivers join in. These other rivers are known as tributaries. Some tributaries join the river in the hills, while some join it later when the river reaches the plains. The river now flows down the plains slowly as the plains are flat. In the plains, the river is heavy with the mud and sand that it has carried on its journey down the mountains and through the plains. Fine soil brought down the mountains by a river is called silt. During monsoons, water in a river fills beyond its capacity and it overflows its banks, causing floods. When the water dries up, the silt is left behind. Silt makes the land fertile, which is good for growing crops. The place where a river ends its journey is called the mouth of a river. From here, the river flows into a lake, sea or ocean. Some rivers carry a lot of silt up to their mouths. The mud makes it hard for the river to flow in one stream, so it breaks into many small rivers to reach the sea or ocean. Over the years, silt gets deposited between the smaller rivers in the mouth of a river. This forms a triangular shape known as a delta. Some rivers do not form a delta and flow into the sea in a continuous stream. The mouth of such a river is called an estuary. River Ganga is a snow-fed river. River Godavari is a rain-fed river. The highest waterfalls in India are the Jog Falls in Karnataka. The Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers form the largest delta in the world, called the Sundarbans.
That's all for today. Thank you.